Hey people, Sean Hawk here for Shamanic Lodge. I'm seeing these videos and hearing people talk on their lectures and workshops, and they're talking about, how people wake up, the organic version of the Great Reset. The inorganic version says you'll own nothing and be happy. And I just can't imagine that, because owning personal property kind of gives you the real freedom to do what you want with what you have. You created it, you made it, you worked for it, it's yours, and you own it. That's part of personal freedom and sovereignty. So that's the inorganic version of the Great Reset. The organic version of Great Reset would be to wake up to things that are really going on, as far as globalists and the people who want to control the world. Wake up to a higher meaning of life. Well, I see these people talking in these videos. It's like, oh, when you wake up, you raise your frequency and your vibrations and blah, blah. And okay, and then what? No one seems to have any answers for that. The truth is, a bunch of people can wake up and do nothing, and nothing good happens. Only the stuff we don't like. We're going into year 3 of 14 days flatten the curve, which now has just been proven to be a scamdemic, plandemic, just a wealth transfer into more of the globalist hands. But yet the people, their life hasn't gotten any better. If anything, we just lost more freedoms. We stagnated. We lost time. You can lose money and property and either replace it or succeed it with something else. You lose time, it's gone. It's gone. And I have a real problem with it. I think most people, when they get older, they have more of a problem with, losing time or wasting it or having other people waste their time. So these people making these videos about how when people wake up and raise their frequencies and change the vibration of the earth, and they're not giving any plans, let me give you some. All right, really work on yourself. There is an opportunity for humanity and society to make some great resets, personal resets. There is an opportunity for us to really wake up, not just wake up to what's going on behind the scenes, but wake up to our own potential. We have all the resources. I've said this so many times. We have all the resources on this planet and the money, because we just print it whenever we need it, to make paradise on earth. But there's this group of people that are in power that just want to see how many more millions or billions or maybe even trillions of dollars that they can, accumulate, and for whatever purpose, I suppose. Maybe it's a big game, I just don't understand. But meanwhile, all these other people are suffering. Unfortunately, some of the globalists and the eugenicists, they think the way to stop the suffering is just eliminate the people. Well, we have less people are suffering. Yeah, that's true. A lot of it really goes into education, and probably the best form of education is having living examples in the societies of how to be that free, woke, in a good way, person, and how to living examples of how to really enjoy your life, get a lot of meaning and purpose out of life. So I have a lot of respect for the people that say, no, I just don't want to be part of the whole 9 to 5 hamster wheel kind of a grind. No, nor I. I mean, I've done it. I was brought up to believe that that's what you do. Life is hard. You got to work. No, if you work smart, you don't have to work that hard. And then you have more time to really enjoy the life. This whole concept of just working. Remember, when I was a kid, you went into the military at, let's say, 17, like I did, you could retire for life at 37 years old after 20 years of service. 40 years old, 45 was normal retirement age. Yeah, so through the 60s and 70s. Now, particularly, like I did a lot of construction in my life, 65, 70 years old, retire. No one lives that long in construction, okay? That just doesn't happen. So the standard of life went down. The cost of life went up. The meaning and the pleasures of life just almost disappeared. And that's where the Great Reset can come in a good way. So this is a time when people can look and go, wait a minute, this whole social programming thing, I need to really escape this. I need to really figure out what is it that I really like. And that's a lot of the work that I do with people. You know, people say that, hey, I'm the picture of success, but I'm not happy. I'm thinking about suicide and all this other stuff. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. And then when we get into their core, and that's part of the personal reset, getting into your core and discovering your personal truths once you've escaped this program. This is one of the big things that happens with people when they do their shamanic apprenticeships. Because I tell them the first 2 years of the apprenticeship is a lot of personal renovation. We're going deep in you, right back to day one when all the programming started, and figuring out who you are. And from there, now we can figure out what kind of shaman you want to be. And a lot of times people go through that process and go, I don't think I want to be a shaman now. I just want to be a regular person in a better way. Beautiful. I think that's a great thing to be. And I'll help you get there. We have to have personal ceremony. Ceremony is really important because it's a focus on the self. And there's a big, big difference between being centered in self and self-centered. Self-centered means you think the world runs around you, and you're the entitled one. No. Centered in self is you know who you are. And now you can, that centered in self is the axis of which other things about your personality rotate. Just like the earth has the axis. And we rotate around that axis. Well, the rest of your life can rotate around your personal axis when you figured out the center and the core of your truth. It's a long journey sometimes to get people back there because they have all these layers of decades and years and experiences just compound one layer on top of another. And some of these layers, you know, stick together really well, and some of them have this space in between them. And once you've pulled off one layer, a lot of the stuff that's underneath it now doesn't have the pressure holding it down, and a lot of other issues can just come up. So this gets frustrating for people. They think, well, this journey's never going to end. It's just when I think I'm calm and I've got all my stuff worked out, and then this other stuff comes up. Well, yeah, you relieved the pressure. That last episode that you went through, you relieved the pressure that was holding these other issues down. So when this other stuff comes up, it's a good sign because the process is working. And there will be an end to it. Yeah, the older you are, the more trauma you've had, the more layers you're going to have on top. But it just means you just have to be more consistent, you know, more focused on this process, more dedicated. I've seen people go through 60 years of trauma and bad life. I mean, listening to people's lives is like, wow. I mean, I've had some rough points, but they take the prize. But then within a couple years, boom. And that's not that long. You know, when you're looking back on 10 years, it's not that long. Yeah, you look forward on 10 years. Oh my God, 10 years. Time passes at the same space. It's just how much you do within that time, you know, in that space. I've had a lot of people that say, yeah, you know, been going to therapy for years and I can sit down and talk to you for a couple hours and get a lot figured out. There's a process to it. If we all really focus on our own personal processes, that's another way we can do an organic great reset. And it doesn't take that much. You know, eventually there's enough people, kind of like that 100 monkey theory. You know, I love that experiment. You guys look it up. And enough people are working on their own stuff, which has been happening. And I've seen a lot of good signs of this over the last few months. That becomes that critical mass of consciousness. It does this flash and starts to affect other people. So many times people are telling me, man, since I've gone through these other changes, my family is also going through these changes, positive ones. And then after that, people in their community. And that's the power of that positive, personal, spiritual evolution and its radiance going out and warming everybody else up. You have a big bonfire, you can start to feel it 100 feet away. Where you get that person that's really radiating in their personal truth and their core is just shining, you know, they radiate and other people feel that because their subconscious wants that. They want that internal peace. They want that internal acceptance and identity, self-identity. Like, this is who I am. I'm proud of myself. I love myself. So many people are yearning for that, and just so few people have it. And that's why one of the greatest personal and public services that anybody can offer, shamanic or not, every human being can do this great community service by offering other people encouragement, realistic encouragement, not fantasy. Oh, you can do anything you want. Not really. You know, you can get close, but be truthful about these things when you're giving somebody encouragement. And again, if we all do that, that's a big part of the organic Great Reset. People, all these things are so easy if we must make a decision to do it. So if you want to call yourself waking up, you had this awakening, you got red pilled. Ask yourself where the proof is. Because the actions on the physical plane, that's the proof of everything. It doesn't matter what anybody says. Watch what they do. So if you want to say you're one of those people that got red pilled, where's the proof?